In order to enter any orders, you will need to have a customer profile created. To enter new customers or edit any existing customers, you'll go under the admin dropdown and click on customers. Here you can see a list of customers that are already entered. To enter a new one, you will click on this top right corner, add new green button. And then you'll go through, and we'll go through each of these tabs, and I'll show you the basics on how to enter a customer. This page is pretty self-explanatory. You have your general information for the customer that's needed in here. I will note that the email is the most important piece of this form right here. The email address that you put in this spot here will be the email that gets all notifications and correspondence for orders that are placed under this customer. And there's about 4 to 5 emailed notifications per file that go through the system. That's when the order is entered, when the notary is assigned, which includes the notary information, when the notary reaches out to the borrower or the signer, and whether or not they actually confirm that appointment. That would be a notification, as well as finally when it's completed and signed. The customer in this email address here will get that notification. So I'm just going to go through and enter some of the basic information here. There is another spot, speaking about emails, there is another spot in the order form and within this customer profile that we can add extra email addresses if they would like to add more. But this is what would be the main email address that would get any correspondence on the orders automatically. So there's some extra spots in here for other phone numbers, extra address information. It's not all required, but you do want to have the basics, and especially an email address in there. Once you've got the information entered for your customer here, you'll click continue at the bottom, the blue continue button. So number 2 is fees. Fees is this online column right here is where you will put in the fee to your customer. So this is what you're charging your customer, what you'll invoice your customer. That's what goes in this column. And then this text column will put in the fee that you wish to have as your base fee that will be texted out to notaries when the order hits the board, the scheduling board. Once you have all your fees that you wish to put in there, you'll click continue. And now this is the email section I was telling you about, that you can actually add other email addresses into these notifications per notification. You can add as many email addresses as you'd like. I believe it's up to 10, but you would separate them with semicolons, and you can add any email addresses in there you'd like to put. And this is if there's this will be for every order. These email addresses listed in this section of the customer profile will get those notifications if they're listed in that portion. And there is one other place that email addresses can be added, and it would just be per file in the order form. So say you have your customer email, and whatever emails maybe they want to get every order notification can go in here for if the notary is assigned, or however they want to have it tailored for their preferences. But in the order form, when you go and place an order, you can add email addresses onto that order form. So those email addresses will specifically only get emails for that order. So that's another way to tailor their email preferences. Down here, the reply to email is important, as this is where you will add the email address that the notifications will be sent from. So they'll be sent from this email address, and when the customer or the notary replies to their confirmation email or some kind of a notification status update email that might go out to the customers, they can reply to this email address, and the emails if they have to share information about that file, they'll reply to that email address, and that's where it will go. So that's important to have there for them to get notifications and be able to reply. Now we come to the switches. I'll go through this step by step. This team assignment section here, this is if you can organize internally in this system if you have lots of different customers and different team members that might need to pay attention to certain customer orders. This is like a funnel system here. So you can make your teams and assign a customer to a team. So in certain areas of the site, you can filter out by that team. Fax back requirement, if a customer requires fax backs and scan backs on all of their orders, you can click this. So any order that goes up will automatically place those orders in a scan back queue. So it'll be the list of orders that all require scan backs. It'll kind of put it into a queue for you. Also just kind of flag it for the notary when it gets texted out that scan backs are required. And there's a switch within the order that you can turn on and off as well. I'll show that, and you can see that in the order information videos. Document tracking. This is also a thing you can check, that if perhaps this customer, you need to make sure you're following up on the tracking of the documents after the signing. If you click on this in this customer profile, it will put that into that queue as well. So any orders that go in underneath this customer will go, and you have that clicked, they'll all fall into this document tracking queue, so someone can follow up order by order whether documents are tracking or not. And there's little switches in the order as well. Document management required. This will allow you to see whether documents are uploaded or not when it's in a list form on some parts of the website. It'll show the document management required, helps you to see in certain list forms whether or not documents are uploaded, and I'll show you what I mean by that here. In this notary assigned queue of orders, these are orders that notaries have been assigned. This is where you'll see document management. This one right here has a red little document icon, and that means documents are not uploaded. And this green one means they are. So it kind of just shows you the document management. These ones must not have document management checked because it's not showing. So that kind of gives you an idea of, you can kind of look through a list and see whether documents are uploaded or not. And that document management will automatically change once documents are uploaded on those orders. NNA certification required. If your customer requires that they have an NNA certification, you can check that box, and it'll only text to NNA certified notaries. The texting feature here, you can click on if you want the orders to automatically text out when they go onto the order board, which is mostly the case in most customer cases. You'll want that. So you would check text active, and that would automatically put the orders up on the board. Initial text state off. This can be clicked when the order hits the board at first and you want a chance to review it before you let the text start running. It'll put it up on the board, but just have a text off. if the order goes up on the board and you have initial state text off, it'll go up on the board. You'll be able to turn text on and off. And that would be shown on the order board right here where it says auto text. Usually it says NA because the text is turned off for these so that they're not texting out to live notaries for testing purposes. But normally right here there'd be either a green on or a red off, and that's how you can switch auto text on and off. So that option here is it would put it up but off, and you can reread the order and then click on. Daily doc report. This is something you can use to send to your customers. So you can check on this and you can enter any email addresses that you might want to use for the customer that might need to know whether or not docs are uploaded for certain orders for the day. These customer reports for today, this will show any orders entered today that still need a notary. And you can add email addresses in there. And also for yesterday, this is for more like completions, any orders that were on the board for yesterday and whether or not they're completed or not. So these are little reports you could use to distribute to your customers. This docs needed notification, you can use this if for the document management, if there's an order and the time is approaching the system will automatically follow up on docs for you if they're not uploaded. So if one of these switches are off per se and the appointment is approaching, you can have them this system emailed out to a customer distribution list for documents. You can have them go 2 hours or maybe you do like 4 hours, 2 hours and 1 hour, or just, you can maybe just do 2 hours and then add the email addresses in there. So that's some internal reporting systems that will can help your customers. You can send those out to them if needed. And then lastly, you're on this last page and you would click submit and your customer is entered. And now you can place orders underneath that customer. So we're back at this customer list here. This is where I'll show you where we can now edit the customer. There are some other features on here that can help tailor specifically for the customer's preferences here. This email, if you click on it, it'll just email the email that's on file there. It'll start an email for you. This active, you can, if maybe you're not doing business with one of these customers anymore and you don't want them to show up in your list of orders while you're, list of customers while you're placing an order, if you put them inactive, it'll drop them off of that list so it doesn't clog up the customer list too much and you don't accidentally click on a customer you're not supposed to be ordering under. So that's what this would do. If you clicked on it, it would just move it red and show inactive. History will pull up the entire order history of that customer. So if you need to maybe try to find a certain file or anything like that, you could use that. This upload feature here is great if maybe you have like a job aid for that particular customer, a sheet with general instructions you really want the notary to adhere to for all of the orders for this customer. If it's customer specific, you can upload a file here by clicking on this and upload a file, and it'll automatically attach to every order for that customer. Lenders, this is a good feature if the customer has some specific, maybe they have some specific lenders they work with, or maybe there's it could even be used for maybe certain types of files. So if it's, we know it's a single document, but they have grant deeds, or they have maybe some miscellaneous one sheet documents that we need to show that that's what the order is for. You can make all of these lenders, quote unquote, you can make them a lender, or you can make them a specific signing type, and whatever instructions can be added in to those lenders. And I'll show you, you can see how to add lenders in the adding lender video. But this is a good way to kind of tailor and you can really get more detailed in different document signings and our customers basically. So it'll help flag that order and add extra instructions for that particular customer and lender. The partner is if this is if you have either a customer or somebody in your company that just needs to be attached to certain customers. That's something you could add here. And then the edit button will take you back to basically the same entry order form. If you ever have to change emails, addresses, maybe you need to update your fees somehow, you can go back through here and do all your switches. And then I wanted to show on this permissions page specifically, this is where you can add very detailed instructions. And these things, this is what will get emailed out to the notary within the confirmation. So when they get their emailed confirmation, they can scroll through and maybe see some of these instructions in here. And you can put, you know, whatever is required, whatever you want them to read. And, you know, maybe if there's any special instructions or, you know, anything you want to add in, you can just put that all in there. There's ways to change the fonts and everything. And this fee instructions portion, this is what will show up in the order form. It doesn't show up for notaries, but it does show up for anybody internally. And you can put things in there. Maybe you have something accounting related, you know, email, maybe you have to email a certain email in the customer's company for fee accounting issues or something like that. Whatever you'd want to put in here, it could be internal. It could even be something related to scheduling. It's just something that we can, on any of these orders, we can see internally and reference if we need to. And that's how you enter a customer. And if, you know, you can see the other videos for some of the other stuff I mentioned, like lenders. Yes, so that's how you enter a customer.